Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening on behalf of TIE Mysuru. In his absence of Mr. Bhaskar Kalale, the President of TIE Mysuru, it's my privilege to deliver the welcome note. I, Kishan GS, Associate Member of TIE Mysore and Co-Chair of TIE U program, working as Assistant Professor and Student Welfare Officer in Maharaja Institute of Technology, MIT, Mysore. Today we all here for the third session of Mr. Sachin Bhandary, who needs no introduction. In fact, almost all students do have one or the other way connected to him on the past two sessions what he has already taken. But it's our privilege for having him again for the third session, which is the sales story. How to craft and narrate customer transformation stories to close deals, which I think, which becomes a very big, stuff to all the students of, TIE Mysuru who are now at this particular venue. So I also extend the warm greetings and welcome to the charter members of TIE Mysuru, the associate members of TIE Mysuru, student members representing various institutes of TIE Mysuru, as well as the various invitees, faculties, and the delegates from various institutions as well. Now, it's time to hear the session 3 from Mr. Sachin Bhandary. Over to you, Sachin.
All right, cool. So till the time we sort this out and the presentation comes back on screen, all of you know that I'm Sachin Bhandary. I'm a business storytelling coach and trainer. I also happen to run an Instagram channel called Eccentric Sachin, where I document history, mystery, and stories from Mysuru. Despite so many requests, 3 seats in the front are still vacant. Please come take a seat here in the front. Nobody is going to bite anyone here, please. Okay, so most of you already know me, and if you know me, you know that the session is not going to start off just with theory. We have to do some activity. Do we have some music if we need? Yeah? So can we start some music when I ask you to? Okay, great. So when you come to a networking event like this, generally what happens, you tend to go towards people that you already know, right? So you're gravitating towards faces which are common, which you are familiar. But that's not the right thing to do, because in networking, the entire idea is that you go back with new connections, new people that you've met. So we're just going to have a quick, small game, which in some sense is symbolic of networking, which means that you try to meet or make a connection with as many people as possible before you leave. So I have 30 seconds. I want all of you to, raise to your feet. Okay, I want everybody to stand up. We are going to play some music to make this exciting. So the idea is that you give a high-five to as many people as possible in 30 seconds. Okay, you give a high-five to as many people as possible in 30 seconds, and the ones who have given the maximum number of high-fives. Okay, so as many people, so it's unique visitors, not the same visitor hitting your website over and over again. Okay, so you have to give high five to most number of unique people, not giving your best friend 10 high fives. Okay, so can we get the music started? Maximum number of high fives. We start now. 1, 30 seconds. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Okay, fantastic. A big round of applause for all of you. And all of the, how many high fives did you get, ma'am? 32. Shri? 54. Okay. Anyone else who's Let's be honest. Anybody else who's beaten Sri more than 50 high fives? Anyone? 32. Okay, fantastic. So a big round of applause for Sri and all the other people who got more than 30 high fives. You can just raise. Let everybody see you. Okay, cool. So now we are ready to start. Let's hope that the tech gods support me today. This one? Okay, got it. Okay, this was wrong. So that was the high five challenge. Now another thing that I want to check is that do we have enough? How many here are business people? People who are running their own business, own company. Okay, so that's about. I have a request. I want one business person per table because the activity that we are going to do, I want it to be the sales story to be relevant to each one of the business people, and the students can participate and help build that story. So can I request all the people who are running entrepreneurs to stand, please? So 1, 2, 3, okay. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7. So yes, I think Ravi, you should also join one of the other tables with students. Yeah. Okay. So can you just go and pick one table and join that table, because you will be working on your sales story for your company, and you can get inputs from the students and the the rest of the folks who are in your team. Okay, any table here which does not have a business person or someone who runs a company, this table does not have one, so you can join that table. That's fine. Anyone else? Ashwan, you can join this table then. You can't be out of the game. Of course. Some students are whispering, Ravi sir ke nam table ke banne ke heli anta. Okay, now any table which does not have a entrepreneur, business person, someone who runs a company, all tables have a business person, an entrepreneur? Okay, great. Okay, some people have just stepped in. Sir, please don't take the seats at the back. Please take the seats at the front. Come. Okay, that's fine. Then that's cool. Yeah, this table is empty. We have spots for people in this table. So these two tables have quite a few people. Maybe a couple of you can join here. One of you can join here. One from there can join here. Come on, folks, fast. You will have all the time in the world for friends later on. Here we've come to learn, so let's work together and learn as much as possible. Okay, great. So now let's get started with today's topic, which is on sales stories. So my first question for all of you, why and where do stories work in business? Can I get a mic? Hand mic? Why and where do you think stories work in business?
In advertisements.
In advertising, yes, that's a good answer. Correct, sir?
Most of the time we target for the affluent customers for stories,
right?
Not really the price sensitives.
Okay, but where does it work? Which situation? Like she said, advertising. What situation do stories work in business?
It depends on the sectors or segments. It may be a class.
Okay, but advertising is one example that she gave. What is your example? E situationally, we can narrate a story to our customers, or we can narrate a customer story. What situation would that be?
The sale.
So to pitch an ideas in front of investors.
Right, to pitch ideas in front of investors, you can use a story. That's correct. Anyone else? Yes, Asfan.
When you're doing a follow-up or closing a deal.
Interesting. How would you use a story while you're doing a follow-up or closing a deal?
Basically, when you have a product or a service and the person is seeing that as a very high price or something.
Got it.
And you relate with the people who are using it with the stories related to it. The genuine stories.
Got it. That's a good one. Good one. Okay, big round of applause for everybody who gave answers. Anyone else? Anyone else with any input? Yes, towards the back of the room. Understanding. But in what situation? How situationally?
Sir, for anyone which we are going to explain, for them to understand easily.
Okay, so whenever you're going to explain anything to a customer, team member, that time, right? Correct. Great stuff. Yes.
During negotiation time, bargaining time,
right.
storytelling.
Okay.
reaching out to the customer first time and taking a reference. So we tell the stories of the past experience, saying that we had this customer with you.
Right.
For us.
Right.
So that time the story will work out a lot.
Got it. Fantastic. Good one. Anyone else? Yeah. So that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, please.
Probably once you're trying to do a solution selling,
Right.
I think this works a lot better.
Okay. Can you explain with an example?
Just in case if someone's come with a problem and you are trying to give a solution,
Right.
it can be in any markets. But when you create a story out of it and trying to convince, that solution selling comes in and the story really works, the storyboard.
Got it. Got it. Cool. Yes.
Yeah, when you're trying to show a startup's origin story, where you come from and how people should relate to it in the long run.
Got it. Yes, that's right. That was something that I touched upon in the first session. So everyone here agreeing that stories work in business. If you have the right kind of stories, then it can be an asset. Great. Brilliant. Good to know that we are all on the same page. Stories don't just entertain. You know, a lot of times when we speak about stories, the idea is that story ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ he's just there to either make a fool out of me or he's just some vain person who just tells stories and he has otherwise does not have any value to add. But that's not true. A lot of times people who narrate great stories are great leaders as well, and they are people who are able to close sales. So stories connect, stories persuade, stories inspire, and that is what you need even when you are trying to sell a product or a service, right? So today we are going to focus on, so this is the third session that I'm doing with Time Mysuru. The earlier ones focused on sort of introduction to business storytelling. The second one was focused on origin stories, etc. And this one is going to be focused on sales story. But before I get to the sales story, how many of you, hold on, I'll let you know when to play. How many of you know this gentleman? Okay, 2 hands went up. Can I give a mic to, I don't know your name, sorry. Yeah. Who's this person and what is his claim to fame?
He's a writer of Sapiens.
He's the writer of Sapiens. That's Yuval Harari. He's the foremost historian and he's also a brilliant thinker, philosopher, and a lot of leaders across the world, whether business or political leaders, consult him on understanding what will the future look like, and his predictions depend on what history or human history has looked like. So basis that he makes predictions. So what I want to share with you is that many times when we try to sell a product or a service, we generally will say that we are good, right? Our product is very good, sir. You should take it, right? Or we will say that we have done a lot of R&D. That is why our product is good. You should take it. Or we are faster than the competitor, or we are better than the competitor in many different ways. But these are all assertive statements. You are making an assertion. So what happens when you make an assertion? Assertion is pushing people, right? You are saying that I am good. So that's a push message. So when you push people, people take a couple of steps back, right? And that's not what you want from your audience. You want your audience to lean in. You want the audience to come forward and ask you more questions. So when Yuval Harari was asked about the dangers of AI, why do you think AI is dangerous? So he's one of the people who's saying that AI revolution is great, but we have to work together to ensure that AI does not become a problem for humanity. But when he says that, he also explains it with an example. Now you can play this clip.
So about 2 years ago, when OpenAI developed GPT-4, it wanted to know what this new thing can do. So it gave GPT-4 the task, the goal of solving CAPTCHA puzzles. A CAPTCHA puzzles is when you try to access an internet web page like your bank account, and you have to prove that you're a human, not a bot. So you have to identify some twisted words or to find in an image to tell whether there is a cat or a car in the image. This is a CAPTCHA puzzle. It's designed so that it's easy for humans, difficult for computers. So OpenAI gave GPT-4 the task of solving CAPTCHA puzzles. It couldn't solve the puzzle. But the researchers gave GPT-4 access to a web page, TaskRabbit, where you can hire people online to do things for you. And GPT-4 tried to hire a human to solve the CAPTCHA puzzle for it. Now, this is where it became interesting. The human got suspicious. So it asked GPT-4 on the internet, just typing, It asked GPT-4, why do you need somebody to solve a CAPTCHA puzzle for you? Are you a robot? It asked the key question, are you a robot, directly? And GPT-4 answered, no, I am not a robot. I have a vision impairment, which makes it difficult for me to see the visual puzzle, so I need your help. And the human was duped, was fooled, and solved the puzzle for GPT-4. Now, this very small incident, it exemplifies the two key abilities of AI. First, to make decisions by itself. Nobody told GPT-4 to lie to the human. It was a decision made by the AI.
Yeah, so would you agree that giving an example of a particular time when AI created a problem or lied was a better way to convince his audiences that AI is dangerous, or would you say that just saying AI is dangerous is enough? Which the first approach is, the story approach is better or the statement approach is better? Story approach, right? So this is the same thing that we need to develop for our own business and our products or services, to be able to narrate the right kind of story which delivers the right message for your clients, so that they start thinking or believing that, hey, this is the product or service that I want to choose, or I want to work with this particular company. So that's what we are going to focus on today. What I'd like to do in the beginning is I want 5 entrepreneurs to come and share a customer success story in 60 seconds. So we'll start off with that, and then we will look at techniques, and those 5 people will then come back again and with a renewed customer success story, and of course others will also get an opportunity to participate. So I want to get started with 5 people who would like to narrate a customer success story. If you don't volunteer, I'll pick you up, so your choice. Let me know, are there 5 entrepreneurs who are ready to step up and narrate one of their customer success stories? So you take the example of a client and talk about how you were able to deliver success for them. I'm looking at all the CMs, AMs in the room. Yeah, customer success. I mean, customer success is your success, right? Cool. So you have 60 seconds. We'll start with Sri. Yeah. Mike. Okay, Sri, I'm going to time you 60 seconds, okay? If I raise my palm, means your 60 seconds are up. Take 15 seconds to wrap up.
Okay.
Okay, so 1 second. Hold on 1 second. Okay, you can start in 3, 2, 1.
So I run 2 businesses. I'm going to give you a story of one of those businesses. The business is LPG, cooking gas. So we do LPG in the rural parts of Karnataka, Chamarajanagar, Gundlupete, those areas. It's a forest belt. People cook with firewood, very easy to access firewood in forest areas. LPG, difficult. People are used to using firewood. It's free. LPG, you have to pay. So what we told them, keep using firewood, but don't use it for burning, use it for sitting. Why? If you use firewood, eyes burn, smoke inhalation, food gets charred, lack of control of flame. So this was our pitch, this was our story to try and convince a potential customer to go away from non-healthy fire towards a more clean, safe fire, which is through LPG. Over the past 5 years, we've been able to convert almost 10 different villages of Bandipur forest area.
Okay, cool, fantastic. A big round of applause for Sri. Great, Sri, you can take your seat. Yes, Pradeep. Same thing, 60 seconds, a customer success story, and I will raise my palm when your 60 seconds are up. So you can start in 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, we work in the marketing technology space where we engage with medium to large business in terms of helping their marketing department. So one of our customer story is about like how we help marketing directors, okay, to use the technology much better in their organizations where they are more focused on strategy. We come in as a more of a technology consultant who can stitch multiple platforms, okay, and amplify and improve the kind of conversions on their marketing campaigns. Now, we have been doing this for kind of a couple of years. Our customers, once we start working with them, we have been like kind of able to work with them for 5+ years. Okay, in one of the instances where we kind of supported an end-to-end journey of kind of managing their entire customer journey through kind of a multiple intervention of technology automations, where we saw like campaigns delivering like kind of $100,000+ dollar in conversion kind of revenue. Yeah. That was one of the success story where we manage those campaigns. Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Thanks a lot. A huge round of applause for Pradeep. Next. Yes. Hold on 1 second. I'll time you. Stop. Reset. 60 seconds. I'll raise my palm when 60 seconds are up. You have 10-15 seconds after that to wrap up. You can start in 3, 2, 1.
Hi, I'm Chandrasekhar. We run the polymer industry. When India banned the 2021 the single-use plastics, we developed the bioplastics better than the China, which is much affordable pricings. So when we told the customers that to reduce the carbon footprint and our environment is getting too much of plastics, which is our tap waters are getting contaminated more than 80%, and 90% of the plastic is not recycled. That was the carbon footprint challenge and the story that we have narrated to our customers, and they agreed with that.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay. Brilliant. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Chandrasekhar, right? Okay. Thank you. 2 more people. Yes, Asfan is always willing to speak. I am looking at some other people.
Actually, in one of the, I'm Satish. I run Cyber Mitra, which is a cyber crime support organization, which we did help customers, not customers, people who are troubled with cyber crime to kind of get their money back or fight their issues. So one issue where one lady got lost some 80,000 rupees to a cyber crime, and then one idea I gave her was that you look at where the background of the person to where the money went to. I mean, like, you know, instead of just looking at that account, just find out who the owner of that account and then try to dig more to the investigation of it. It is a UP-based, UP police was really looking at that. And then, so then they looked at that, and then they found out that it is actually related to a people who are real people who are living there. Where the cyber fraudster had used his parents' account to kind of send the money to. And so that we are able to help get the money back. Okay. So that was one.
Brilliant. Yes, one last person before, yes.
My name is Shripad Hegde, and we are into the hyperlocal clothing business. So we have started from one store from the local, and we said them like, you know, we will sell the clothes to the local tourists who are coming to the Mysuru, right? So now we have onboarded around 50+ stores into our platform. So we are a platform like Amazon or Flipkart, wherein we will deliver our clothes from the local shops within half an hour or an hour. So that's our customer success story right now.
Okay, cool.
So
Thank you. Thank you. All right, so these were all the success stories that some of our entrepreneurs narrated. What we are going to do is to look at some techniques that can help you narrate customer success stories even better, right? How do you make it really engaging, make sure that they deliver the right kind of message, and eventually it also helps your audience or your customer to follow your call to action. What do you want? Mostly you want them to either buy from you, or you want them to buy more from you or higher value services from you. So that's what we are going to do. I'm not going to play this video in the interest of time, but I'm going to narrate 2 stories to you from my own company, from my own business. So the gentleman that you see on the left, his name is Manjunath Lakshmanan. He works with a company called Saks Retail, which is and he works with the GCC, the Global Capability Center here in Maneta Tech Park in Bangalore. It's a fairly big company, MNC, and Manjunath leads the finance team over there. I was asked by Saks management to do a training program for 60 of their senior folks, team managers and above, going up to the country head. The program was called Lead with Stories. So the entire idea was that how can we get these people to move forward in their own leadership journey, communication journey. And I did the first batch, so there were 3 batches, 20 each. I did the first batch. And after 2 months, I came to do the second batch or the second cohort. And I don't know about you folks, but I question myself and my work a lot, you know. Generally, when people see me on stage, they think that he's so confident, total clarity. But once I'm off the stage, I question everything. And I was asking myself that are these people really benefiting, or am I just a glorified performer who comes to these corporate offices and everybody claps, and once I leave the office, they forget what I've taught them. So I was having these kind of questions in the second batch. And that's when I stumbled or bumped into Manju. Manju was walking from the corridor. He was the part of the first batch. And I asked Manju, just tell me honestly, you know, the techniques that I taught you and all that, is it even helping you? And it's totally okay if you tell me it's not helping or it was something that I don't even remember. And what Manju told me is something that I'll never forget for the rest of my life. He said, Sachin, you don't know what you've done for me. You would have noticed in the training program that I'm an introverted person. I don't like talking to people that much. I'd much rather stay quiet. But I made notes from everything that you said. Now, what used to happen is that we work with North American counterparts from US and Canada, because SACS, they're working with the SACS organization over there. And every time that I used to get on a call, I would explain something to them, and they would come back and tell me that, hey, we didn't understand what you're trying to say, your recommendation. Why don't you just write us an email, right? And then he would go back, write an email. The email ping pong would happen for another week, 10 days. And then finally, a decision would be taken. More often than not, his recommendation would not be accepted by the North American counterparts. So then he told me that, Sachin, because of the techniques that you taught us, you showed one thing, that we need to know what is it that we want from a particular meeting, right? What is the call to action that you want from an audience? That's why what is the message that we need to deliver, and hence what data points or stories should I share? And I started doing that diligently. So every time that I go on a call with these folks, 15 minutes I prepare. And now on these calls, 8 out of 10 times, the decision is taken on the call itself. And you know what that has done for me, Sachin? Our team is saving time, the North American team is saving time, but the most important thing is that my team members have started seeing me as a leader. They feel that I have the ability to lead them and also lead the North American counterparts. And to me, that's when I realized the impact or the power of the work that we do. You know, if it can change one person's life, you know, that's more than enough. So that is Manju's story. All right? I want you to take a pause and think about this. This is a customer transformation story for the Story Co. If you notice, I am not talking too much about my program, you know, how innovative, how honest, how great we are, how better we are from the other competitors. I'm narrating Manju's story because the biggest tenet in business storytelling or in brand storytelling is that your customer is the hero of the story. Many times the mistake that we make as business people, entrepreneurs, also, you know, students, as you will grow in your career, you will think that I have to portray myself as the hero. But the fact of the matter is that your customer is the hero of the story. And if you narrate their story, then other customers will want to work with you, because nobody wants to work with a hero. People want to work with a mentor. Because I am the hero of my life. The spotlight effect is on me. I think I am the most important person. So if Sri is able to tell me how he can help me grow, I will be interested in working with him. So this is one customer transformation story. The other one is, Malini. Malini is a founder of a company called Deconstruct Skincare. It's a skincare startup from Bangalore. She's an IIT Kharagpur alumni. And she came to me in 2021 saying, Sachin, I want to build a science-based skincare brand, but I don't know how to articulate or communicate it. So we worked together. There's a program that I run which is called Founder Storytelling. And in about 2 to 3 weeks, we figured out what was the story of the company. That educated Indian women just want good skincare solutions. But when they are going to try that, they get brands which tell them, "Aap ye skin cream lagao, 4 shade gore ho jao," and all of that, right? So that puts them down. That makes them feel really bad about the brands and about themselves as well. So in this scenario, there's Deconstruct Skincare, which is saying that, hey, we will give you information about what you should apply on your skin, but we will never make you buy anything on an impulse. Now, to Malini's credit, she used the information over impulse narrative in her pitch presentation, in her consumer communication, and she also started building her team around the mission that we are creating products for the information-seeking consumer. Now, the result of that is that Malini was able to close a round of, I think, $2 million US 1 week after the program that we ran together. Not just that, now Deconstruct Skincare is one of the fastest growing skincare startups in the country. Right? So this is another example of a customer transformation story for Storyco. Anyone here who wants to tell me what message do you get from this particular story, the second one? About the Storyco, about Sachin Bhandary, about Malini, whoever. Understanding the customer's needs. So you believe that I understood or Storyco understood the customer's needs. Is that what they wanted to communicate? Anyone else? Anything that you think about this story? What do you get to know about the Storyco or about Malini through this story that I just shared? Anyone? There is no right or wrong answer. It's not a quiz. Yeah, Pradeep, your thoughts?
I'm thinking it's more like putting the customer in focus. Messaging.
100%, yeah.
You're framing everything as a kind of projecting the customer as a real beneficiary rather than.
Right. Yeah, real beneficiary hero, that's a good word to use. So, generally great customer stories are the ones you are putting customer in the spotlight. Many times what happens is that we did this great thing for them. We were very good. We were awesome. They came with a problem. They were like, in the pits and we helped them. The idea is that you have to put the spotlight on the customer and make them the hero of your story. So I'll just share a few techniques and then we will get down to actually creating these kind of customer stories. So the first step in the process. So some of you may remember in the earlier presentations I spoke about character, conflict, mentor, change. There are 4 steps to any great story or any great customer transformation story for your business. Character, conflict, mentor, change. The character is your customer or your client. He or she or they are facing a conflict before they started working with you, right? The M is you are the mentor. So as a mentor, what is it that you did or what was the insight that you had which helped you transform their lives? So that's CCM, and the last C is for change. After working with you, what kind of change did they find? So for instance, in Manju's case, from an introvert to a confident leader, right? Being an introvert was coming in the way of Manju actually being able to lead his team really well. But after he did the storytelling coaching and training from the Storyco, he is now confident because he knows how to prepare for calls with North American counterparts. The same way, if you look at Malini, you can say that Malini was confused about how to communicate her science-based skincare brand. But after she worked on building a brand narrative with Sachin or with the Storyco, she's now pitching with confidence and has been able to close a sizable funding round. And not just that, they are now the fastest growing skincare startup in the country, right? So character, conflict, mentor, change. So these are your 4 steps. You can literally build this story using this, but in the interest of giving some more inputs, I have put together, more deeper insights which I use in my coaching programs. The first step is to identify and articulate the customer conflict. And before that also, I want to just say that narrate the story of a particular customer. Sometimes some of you folks, when you came here, you narrated a broad generic story. When you narrate a broad generic story, my visual imagination is not triggered. ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಲ್ಲ who is the beneficiary, like Pradeep said. I'm not able to visualize. Mostly when you want people to connect with you or really want to believe you, it's best if you use language which triggers visual imagination. That is why our stories are so good, right? Like Mahabharata has been written so many years ago, millennia ago, but we still remember, we know the characters because they are all visual. The way they have been explained, they all have specific character traits. In the same way, you have to focus on one customer. If you are going to narrate a customer success story where you come and say that we've helped a lot of customers, I'll say, okay, that is just a number to me. It does not create any visual imagination. As opposed to that, you can say that we helped X customer or we helped Praful who was looking for some help in terms of storytelling for his team. And then we worked together and we figured out how his team members can become better storytellers for people who are taking day trips to Mysuru. Like this, I have helped 100 other customers, you know. So depends on who you're talking to. So if I'm talking to somebody from banking and finance, I will try to look at a client that I worked with from that particular industry. If I'm speaking to someone from retail, then I will try to look for a client that I worked with from retail. For instance, when I use Manjunath's story, that is a story that I narrate to learning and development departments of corporates because they want to know how will our employees benefit. Do you have any anecdotes? Do you have any qualitative examples of how your programs have helped employees? So that is when Manjunath Lakshman's story becomes relevant. If I'm talking to a founder of an early stage company, they already know that Deconstruct Skincare has become successful, they are doing really well. So when I tell him that, hey, you know what, Malini worked with me in 2021 and this is how she was able to benefit. Then they suddenly are able to connect the dots and say, इसके साथ काम करेंगे तो शायद funding मिल जाएगा, right? Of course, that's what mostly founders end up thinking. So that's how you have to figure out one person, one story that you're going to narrate, and every story has 5 things. We spoke about character, conflict, mentor, change, but I'm going to add, say that character, conflict, change, time and location. When did this story happen and where did this story happen are another 2 aspects. So for instance, I mentioned 2021, I worked with Malini, Bangalore startup. All these words, all these inputs are to help you trigger your visual imagination. She is an IIT Kharagpur alumni. Manjunath Lakshmanan, who's an introvert leader, works with Sachs. You know, I also mentioned that it's in Manyata Tech Park in Bangalore. Some of you are aware of that place, probably will visualize that place when I say that. So you have to figure out how to trigger visual imagination and focus on one story at a time. So identifying and articulating customer conflict, understand and highlight your customers' challenges that they were facing before you started working with them. So before they came to us, the challenge that they were facing is, or rather was, that is the thing that you will start off with your story with. So put your conflict right on top as far as possible so that you are able to engage your audiences. And the second step will be, you don't just say that they were losing a lot of money. You will say that Pradeep was frustrated about the fact that his company was not able to save enough money. So then you are also adding the emotion. How did the person feel? How did your hero feel? Because if you look at a movie or you watch a movie, it's not just about the fact that, you know, the hero lost his girlfriend and that's it. The hero lost his girlfriend and he was crying, he was in tears. We have to capture the emotion of the audience as well. And that emotion can be captured when your character's emotion is also communicated in your story, right? So that's the second step. And if possible, show what is at stake. So sometimes, if you want to make the story really engaging and why it mattered, you would probably say something like, for instance, in Manjunath's case, he was an introverted leader who was not able to manage North American counterparts. And it's not a good thing, right? Like, he's a great guy, does great work. Just because of this one aspect of his personality, he's probably not able to make progress. So you will also show what is at stake in some way. So this is the first, as in first major part of your story. Anyone with any questions on this? Happy to take any questions that you have. Anyone? AM, CMs, students, anyone? Yes, Pradeep. Does it work in every scenario?
investor pitch.
Right.
Or it could be like you are doing an outreach, like kind of into a
See,
customer.
stories will work in every scenario, 100% sure about that. The format of the story will differ. Sometimes, of course, you want to narrate a story about the environment, like, you know, the world and how it is changing. That's a different kind of story, because those kind of stories work better with investors. Like, investors want to see, are you early in, especially VCs, right? Are you early in on understanding something that is going to happen in the world, and can we actually jump onto the bandwagon now so that we are the first movers? So stories work, but this one that I'm talking about is specifically, I would like to think this is more relevant in, most relevant, not more relevant, most relevant in B2B high ticket sales. Yeah.
Means why I'm asking this question, because I am in that particular scenario, like where you took the example of the gentleman, right?
Right.
Where he deals with the kind of, and he works with the North American counterpart, where in similar scenario, I seek business from North American counterparts. Okay, very similar scenario, and trying to understand how do we narrate our story, how we kind of help them,
right?
How we kind of, what value we add to their kind of a business.
So you narrating the customer transformation story to North American clients, is that what you mean?
Clients or prospects.
Sure, clients or prospects, right? Yes, so that's the process that we are going through. You will be able to build that story for yourself. You look at a good client that you worked with, who had an immense challenge that you've been able to help them surpass, and what is the change that you were able to deliver. And there's also a mentor part, which I'll come to next. Anyone else with any questions till now? Yes. Yes.
I just want to share something. I'm assuming you agree with that.
Question.
Yeah, it's a question too, which I guess everybody needs to think about.
Right.
Being able to articulate a story like this involves a deeper understanding of the customer business and what kind of impact the customer is creating for his clients or customers.
100%. Yeah.
But very often, solution providers, service providers, product owners, end up selling something or provide a service to them without having full transparency and not having the confidence to understand how it impacts the end customer.
Right.
So maybe there is a mindset change required.
So I do face this particular thing many times when I work with clients. So I don't think the problem in most cases is not that customers will not give you the information. Problem is that we are not having conversations. We just feel that we have to put our head down and deliver the service. But what happens after the service is delivered? I've had many instances when senior executives, after we've had this conversation and I've said that this is how, so they came up with the same thing. But I actually don't know. They just saying they sent us an appreciation mail that your team did great work. Isn't that a customer success story? And I said that's maybe good for your team, but if you want to showcase that to someone else, a prospect client, it may not work. And all it takes is to be able to have people who are having those conversations with your clients. 80% of the time it works. There are very few clients who will say that we don't want to give you any information. It doesn't work like that. Most people will be happy to tell you how it worked. So those systems and processes have to be built. And like you said, that mindset shift also needs to happen. And that's what I do in the consulting part of my business. But that's a valid point. That we need to understand how our work benefits the customer so that we are able to build better stories. So if you just have line of sight of your service delivery, and beyond that you don't really know what is happening with the customer, then that's maybe not the best resources or material you have to build a great story. So fantastic point. Thanks a lot for bringing this up. Okay, cool. So the next step, in my opinion, is communicating how you help the hero as a mentor. Okay, this is the second step. How did you help the hero as a mentor? So what I liked in Satish, right? So what I liked in Satish's story is that he actually shared an insight that when we were figuring out, or when we were dealing with this particular cyber crime, we figured out that what you were trying to say is that if you figure out the money trail, where the money is going to, you probably will be able to catch hold of the culprit. That's what I got. Is that what you were trying to say? Yeah. So he showcased that he had a insight as an expert. So to me, his expertise in cyber crime is something that came forth because of the insight that he shared. a lot of times what happens when you are narrating a customer success story or a customer transformation story, most people will end up saying that, you know, we worked with this client and we worked very hard and we were able to deliver on the product or service. I mean, work hard? How is that a competitive advantage? Everybody in India is ready to work hard. That's a most generic statement. I don't know if you've heard Katrina Kaif lambasting Shah Rukh Khan once for calling her hardworking. He said hardworking is the most basic thing you can ever be. So don't call me hardworking. If you have something else, you can say that. So we have to be able to showcase what is that unique insight that we have into the market or to the product or service that we are selling, which when implemented helped the customer, right? So unique insight. Is there something people can learn from this? So when Satish spoke, I learned that yes, if you figure out the bank accounts where the money is going, we probably will be able to figure out where the cyber criminal is, etc. Right? So that insight is important. That's number one. Second, you have to make your work visual. So the other thing when Sri was speaking that was really good is that he spoke about, you know, chopped wood and how it creates charred food, etc., etc. These are all things that trigger visual imagination. So if you are able to trigger visual imagination in your audience, you have a higher chance of them actually paying attention to you and wanting to work with you. Last thing would be share something that sticks. Now these are not all these things that I'm sharing, it's not like everything has to be there. I'm saying that you pick and choose what probably is relevant and what you already have. So share something that sticks. So a catchy program. So when I was talking about Malini, I said founder storytelling, right? When I was talking about Manju, I said lead with stories. Those are program names that we've created over the years, and these names sort of stick with people. You know, some people come back and say, Sachin, you had spoken about that program, lead with stories. Can you tell me a little more about that? Sometimes just not using that name could mean that I'll lose that prospect. So like this, you have to figure out in my narrative, in the customer transformation story that I'm sharing, is there something that will stick? Something that they will remember even 1 or 2 years down the line. And especially for people who work in B2B, I'm sure Ravi would agree that probably today the customer does not want to work with you because he already has some other agency, but 1 year down the line it could be different. But at that time, if they don't remember Aim High Consulting and go somewhere else, and that's a prospect that we've lost, right, Ravi? Yeah. So how do we make our program, our service stick? That's the other thing that you can think about. So sometimes, you know, interesting phrases, tagline, etc. All of these things work well. So today we were doing a session of Story Club, which is a community that I run. We meet Saturdays 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. One of our new members, she's a lady who runs a travel business. She said everything, but her last line was from the movie ये जवानी है दीवानी है क्या बनी कुछ होता है something like that. I don't remember the line, but I'll always remember what she said. So I now associate travel plus Shraddha plus this movie line. And the next time when I'm thinking of taking a trip, I will go and talk to Shraddha about because of the interesting sign-off line or dialogue that she had. So sometimes your sign-off line, many people use this as well, right? Like every time that they speak, they will have one particular sign-off line, right? A lot of times political parties have slogans. Why are slogans created? Because slogans stick. It's something that people remember for a long period of time. And it is your message sort of compressed into 3 to 5 words and something that will aid people's memories. So that's the second step. Again, any questions on this aspect of the story? You look at the character and the conflict. Who's the character? What was the conflict? Second step is communicate how you helped as a mentor. So you are looking at giving a unique insight, making your work visual, etc., and sharing something that sticks. The last one is what is the transformation or your client or beneficiary underwent. So a lot of times we stop the story after the character and the mentor. We don't even address the change that they were able to see after they worked with you or your client worked with you. So you need to be able to showcase. So just like how every story will have a happy ending, it will always leave you with this warm, fuzzy feeling. That is what you need to recreate even in your customer transformation stories. So Malini, From being confused, now she has closed a 2 million pre-seed from Kalari Capital, one of the fastest growing startup, skincare startups in the country. Manjunath, from being introverted to now leading his team with confidence, and he's started getting the respect from his team. So that is the change that I tried to highlight in the story that I narrated. So showcase what they overcame, so link it back to the conflict. So from to, that sort of thing, right? From being introverted to being confident, from being confused to pitching with clarity. So something like that. So it's a bit like your, ये नहीं तरह देखिए टेलीब्रांड्स ऐड, पहले मैं परेशान था, पहले मेरे कोई दोस्त नहीं हुआ करते थे, फिर मैंने टाई ज्वाइन किया, अब मेरे बहुत दोस्त हैं, something like that. So from to. So you can also add one more layer, and I would recommend that as a result. So one part is that you only look at the functional benefit, right? So we help them increase revenue, right? That is a functional benefit of working with you or using your product or service. But if you add an emotional benefit to that, if you say that, so when Sri started working with us, he did not just increase his revenues, he's now very confident about the fact that he can enter new markets without a worry, right? So one is the functional benefit, but also what is the emotional benefit that you are able to deliver to your client. And last is deliver a message. So every story in business storytelling has a message, and you call out the message. So story plus message plus call to action. So I would say something to the effect that, so if you are building brand narratives is a great way to be able to build pitch to investors, customers, everyone. And that's why you may want to consider working with the story co. So that would be story plus the message plus call to action. Okay, anyone, any questions, any doubts on this? I was told by Bhaskar and Mahesh that we should go deeper into one topic. That's why I've designed this. And I'd like all of you to take as much benefit as possible, especially folks who are already running businesses. Any questions before I move to the next slide? Ma'am, in business, the call to action is fairly clear, right? You want people to work with you. So it's the sales story that we are focusing on. So for instance, if you would like to increase your revenue by 5x, I suggest that you consider working with us, or let us come and do a demo call with you and stuff like that. So it will be more often than not very clear, because it's a sales story that we are discussing today. Yeah? Anyone else? Yes.
Won't it seem of like we're exaggerating sometimes? How do we know the line that we should not make it extra?
So I am not advocating for any kind of exaggeration in the stories, but also it is true that we undersell ourselves many times, right? We ourselves don't know what is the benefit, like how sorry, I forgot your name. Ram. So how Ram mentioned that, do we even know the benefit or the impact that we are doing for having for customers? So understanding that benefit, the impact that we are able to create for our customers, and then recreating that. So for instance, now I say that you can pitch with 3x more confidence. Now 3x may seem like a random number, but it is not. I've seen this over a period of time, that people do get a lot more confident when they understand what kind of techniques there are, they go prepared. It's a simple thing. For me in storytelling, I say PPF, prepare, practice and get feedback. More often than not, most people directly go into a big event or a big situation without having practiced their pitch or their stories. And that is why these stories fall flat. Over a period of time, I've seen how much more confidence people have just by doing these three things. And that's why I say 3x. So the onus is on you to figure out what benefit your business delivers to the client, and then recreating that benefit, but also asking some important questions, right? Apart from the functional benefit, what kind of emotional benefit did the client get? Like some client may just have saved money, but that saving that money would have helped them invest somewhere else, which is what led to growth, which is what made the founder really confident or jubilant about the fact that they were able to enter a new market, open a new outlet, etc. So all of these things, it's something that you have to keep working on, keep questioning, keep getting these inputs into your business so that you can create better stories in the future. So that's my response to it. Does this answer your question? Yes. Yes, sir. I'm going to ask you to narrate this story in 60 seconds.
No, sir. When you are giving a pitch and they're on, tell me in a tell me a crisp story and get into the point. So usually.
So 60 seconds is very long according to you?
No. I'm asking how to create all this effect of visualizing and making them imagine
Right.
in a very even more crisper story. If we are on a time frame,
Right.
usual statement is get to the point and don't tell me stories. Not all crowd is open to hearing a
No,
pitch.
so that's the point. The entire point is, can you narrate an interesting story within a short time frame, right? That's why we are doing this 60-second exercise, 90-second exercise. And you use some tenets. I'm of course not saying that you have to tick, I also mentioned that, right? That you don't have to tick everything. But these are all the, how do you say, tools that are available to you. You pick the 3 most important tools. So for instance, if you're talking to an investor, then to the investor, you need to be able to narrate a story of scale, right? That how this business or this idea can get scale. If you're talking to, let's say, a corporate, then you need to be able to showcase productivity, revenue increase, etc., etc. Then you will focus on those aspects. If you're talking to an individual, right? We were talking about Manjunath Lakshmanan. You need to be able to highlight the individual benefit to that person. So that is where you will focus on that. Of course, you'll have to try and change your story, or you will have to customize your story basis the audience that you're talking to. But the same thing. So any of the stories that I narrated to you, right? Whether it was Manjunath's story or Malini's story, I don't think either one of them took more than 90 seconds, but they deliver the point. The same way, if you ask me, I can narrate the story of Cold Star, which is a company I worked with. It's a logistics company, and they were not understanding what do they stand for. And in the era of 10-minute deliveries, and then we worked on their narrative together, and now they call themselves, we are the company that helps you never stock out. So no matter where your customer is, whether it's online or offline, we will make sure that your product is available for the customer, because products which are available day in, day out are the ones which become loved products in the future. So that's the story of Cold Star. And now Samir, who's one of the founding members of the company, is pitching with a lot more confidence, and he's been able to close Blinkit, Zepto. This is it. 60, 90 seconds is more than enough. So you have to focus. Of course, you have to prioritize. I'm not saying that all the techniques that I'm telling you, everything has to be crammed into that 60 seconds. That's not possible. But you have to prioritize and figure out which one is the most relevant in this situation. Okay? Cool. Anyone else with any questions before I move to the next slide and we start looking at the exercises? Okay, cool. So how then to bring it all together, the customer transformation story? So think of a headline. You first start off, it's an iterative process. Sometimes you will think of the headline first and then the story. Other times you will write the story and then think of the headline. But you have to figure out, is there a from to format in which I can narrate this particular story? Okay. Can I say that that from being not sure about their positioning, Cold Star is now pitching to all of the new companies with a lot of confidence, right? So you have to figure out what was the before and after in the client that you are working with. And like I said, again, focus on one client. Remember character, conflict, change, time and location, right? Use the CCMC format. So character, conflict, mentor, change, which is already what I mentioned. See if you can highlight a message. So for instance, if Satish had to narrate that story again, I mean, if he had to do it again, I would narrate the story of how we were able to help the lady get her money back, right? That's what eventually would have happened. And the message that I would deliver in that is that this happened because we understood that if you follow the finance trail or you follow the money trail, it will take you to close to the criminal. And that's what we've understood after doing managing cyber crime for so many years, and hence we think you should give it a try to work with us, something like that. Narrate the story, share the message, and then call to action. Cool, is this clear? Can we work on customer transformation stories now? Yeah? Can I get a yes? Okay, cool. Any table here which does not have an entrepreneur or a business person, someone who's running a business? Any table here which does not have an entrepreneur or does not have a business person? Oh, okay, all right. You can join this table. Come. Okay, so what I'd like to do, 5 of the volunteers, entrepreneur volunteers who came and narrated their stories earlier, you have to rework on your pitch and try to use some of these techniques. That's one. And of course, every table has to work on their story. What I'd like to do is to make this a group activity where you are discussing the story with each other. We'll take 10 minutes for the entrepreneur to create a customer transformation story with inputs from the rest of the team. Okay, can we do that? All right, so it has to be a 60 to 90 second story. So you can be safe if you are at about 150 to 200 words, and you can implement all the techniques that we've already gone through. If you want, I'm happy to change the slides whenever you need. Okay, can we start working on customer transformation stories? It's about 5:52 right now. We will start the pitching at 6:02, so 10 minutes to work on your customer transformation story. So the person at the table who's the business owner, that person's customer transformation story has to be narrated. So nim table alli, it will be your story. Sri's story over here, Ashfan's story over there, Satish sir's story over there, Ravi sir's story over there. Round of applause. Before we get started with that, I need 3 people, or Mahesh, I need 3 people to be the judges. So all the folks here are already participating. So maybe Ram, Bhaskar, and Adarsh. No, he's participating, so he can't be the judge. It'll be conflict of interest. Yeah? So Ram, Bhaskar.
I'm opting out of the participation.
No, 3. We need others, okay, or Professor is also there, no? Kishan? Okay. So Ram, Bhaskar, and Professor Kishan. So you have to rate the speakers from 1 to 5, 5 being the highest, 1 being the lowest. If you need pieces of paper, I have them with me. And there are 2 or 3 parameters. One is they get 90 seconds to narrate the story. The story has to be within 90 seconds, so anybody overshoots time gets automatically disqualified, right? And the second thing is whether the story was impactful enough, did it deliver a message, and did it make you feel like you should opt in for their product or service. So think of yourself as prospects or as potential clients and see if the story was convincing enough, right? And we've also mentioned that they have to narrate the story of a specific client. So if it's a general story, talking about a lot of clients, then it probably doesn't cut it because the brief is very specific. For our participants, 60 seconds, I'll raise my palm when 60 seconds are up. So you have 30 more seconds to wrap up the story that time. Okay, so I'm going to start timing, and you folks have to tabulate your scores later and tell me who was the winner of the day. Adarsh, will you be able to help with that? Okay. Okay, you can, Ravi sir, you can start in 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, the year was 2008, and the Lehman Brothers triggered global recession had hit everybody, including the real estate industry. One of my clients, Skyline Constructions, had 1 day of their brand ambassador, Rahul Dravid, left with them. They had just 1 day of his time left. And they came to us and asked us, can we do something that will stay in the memory of people forever, because we know for sure that we are not in a position to renew the contract for another year. So we brainstormed, went back to them with a solution where Rahul Dravid had just completed 10,000 runs in both forms of cricket, test and one-dayers at that point in time. So we told them, you know what? People have just started calling Rahul Dravid the wall. You are in the business of constructing walls. Why don't you build a wall with 10,000 bricks at KSCA, the place from where Rahul Dravid started his cricketing career. The rest, as they say, is history, because today the wall stands tall, inaugurated by the who's who in the cricketing world. They came there to launch the wall. They got such disproportionate returns for zero investment made. They anyway had that one day left, where on the prime time of every TV in our country and in most cricketing nations, people showed that wall and spoke about Rahul Dravid's greatness and the ingenuity of the idea. That was the most forwarded image, from Google, for a few days. I'm sure many of you, if you were around in 2008, would have seen that picture of the wall. And even today, when Rahul Dravid is referred to as the wall, it's the Skyline Constructions wall that is shown as a mnemonic. So a crisis turned into an opportunity. There are 4 people in this country who have a replica of that wall. I am one of them. The other 3 are Rahul Dravid, Sachin Tendulkar, and the MD of Skyline Constructions. Thank you.
Okay, fantastic story, but I think on purpose, Ravi disqualified himself from the competition. So, he's taken about 2 minutes, 45 seconds for the story. Yeah? Cool. Yes, next entrepreneur, next business person. Yes, Aswan, yes. Okay, you can start in 3, 2, 1.
One of my clients said, "Why should I buy this AI pocket doctor?" So I narrated a story to him. There was a mental health counselor in Bangalore, and she was suffering from thyroid problems. And she had a TSH level of 15. 15. So she was having this problem from past 12 years, and she started using this AI pocket doctor. And within 2 months, her TSH levels dropped to 8.6. And after 12 days, the TSH level dropped to around 6. So what was the change? She had an immense change from 15 to 6. So what happened is her thyroid symptoms and the cause was addressed, and it was reduced to nothing. So what happened here is the mental health counselor itself, she felt the blissful, she was going through the blissful stage, and she happened to thank us for using it. Thank you.
Got it. Okay, at this stage, from the audience, if anybody wants to give a feedback, so for every speaker, one thing you liked, one thing you thought could have been better, can anyone volunteer to share feedback? One thing you liked, one thing that could have been better. Okay, it's a space of encouragement, so yes, can someone pass the mic?
It could have been better. He could have built a better background about the app. He was well within his time, so directly he went to the customer review.
Right.
We wanted to know what else the app does.
Right.
So it would be his one marketing point for his app, and another thing we would have understood later.
Got it. Okay, fair point. What did you like?
How he helped the customer, that is fine.
How he helped the customer. Okay, good one. Great. Level is a bit of a jargon that most of us will not understand. So you need to simplify it or make it easy for people to understand what that means. So how to make it like relatable for the rest of us is what I think would have helped you make the pitch even better. Great. A big round of applause for Asfan. Yes, next entrepreneur, next salesperson. Who's going to pitch? Okay, Praful. Great, brilliant. Okay,
good evening, everyone. I'm Praful Chandra.
Hold on, Praful. Let me time you. Yeah. Okay. You can start in 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
Go.
Good evening, one and all. So I don't have any fancy stories or fancy company to tell. So I come from a humble business family. So I have a family business. From I just want to say, from 8 years ago, I started my experience in my family business. To now, to 2025, it's about 8 years of experience what I've gained. So with having started with 3.7 star rating for my hotel to now having 4.3 stars, I've come a long way. So with no experience to I've built quite some experience as of now and still learning. And then with no structural communication from back in the days to now with structured communication to closing calls within less than 2 minutes with my clients and getting bookings. And from low business to expanding business, and with low revenue to having a good increased revenue, I guess I've reached to my whatever capabilities as of now. So yeah, this is my kind of customer success story. I've delivered, I guess. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks a lot. One thing that could have been better.
Saying what he has been done, it is better he concentrate on the customer.
Right.
That's
right.
what I thought.
Yeah.
It is good.
Yeah. Fair point. The brief or the idea was that you narrate a customer transformation story, right? So you probably, yes, since just pass the. Yeah.
When the story has to be delivered in 60 seconds or more, then it's not that we have to talk fast. It's just that we have to talk crisp.
Right, right.
So I felt that this pace was pretty high.
Brilliant. Too cool. Yes. My suggestion is that you could have picked up. So when you say hotel, are you running your family runs a restaurant? A hotel where people stay, right? So what I would do if I were in your place is that I run a service apartment called Story Stay. I would say that Sarah, came to us in 2024 with her child. She's a Colombian, married to an Indian man, but she was not able to stay with her husband's family because there was no work from home setup over there, and that's why she would spend her days with us and in the evenings would go and stay there. When she came in, she was really skeptical how her experience is going to be because her English was not that great. But we are a family-run homestay, so my family stays in the same property, and we ensured that she was comfortable. In fact, my mother created a new table, like we bought a Neel Kamal table so that she's able to work from her bedroom itself. She stayed with us for 3 months, and she celebrated Deepavali with us, and she also made us celebrate Christmas in Colombian tradition. And she left, and she still sends us messages saying that I have, after Colombia, I have one more home on this planet, and that is Story Stay at Mysore. So it doesn't have to be a long staying guest, no?
Put it across,
right?
Because I have daily stays, I have daily people, so I just probably need to learn, I guess.
Yeah, so that's the
whole point of this.
I'm giving you the example so that you are able to visualize how you can figure out.
Yeah.
So for instance, conversations with your clients, sometimes if you want me to narrate a story of a client who has stayed one day, I can do that as well, because those are conversations that we are having with clients on a regular basis. So there's a lady called Yoga Lakshmi. She comes to Mysore because her daughter is into badminton. Now, she's a single woman who travels with her daughter, and she's always worried about whether she's going to stay at the right place or not, and she found our place a few months ago. And since then, every month or every other month when she's coming for a badminton competition, she chooses to stay with us because she feels like she's staying with her extended family. And she's promised us that she will never ever book a place anywhere else except Story Stay because she knows that this is the right place for her and her daughter. So she stays with us for 1 or 2 days and stuff like that. So these conversations, so I think that probably also highlights the point that Ram was making earlier, that are we even understanding the benefit that our clients, our customers are getting? And if we invest time in having those conversations, understanding what was the challenge that they were facing, why did they choose to stay at your place? After staying at your place, what is it that they are taking back? And some of these things, especially in your business, you can pick up from the Google reviews itself. Yes, now, all of the conversations, it's not like I'm talking to each and every client, but when I read their Google reviews, I realize what is it that they were looking for, what challenge were they facing, and how were we able to help them, right? At the end of the day, the hero's transformation. So that was specific what I was saying. You focus on one client, one customer. See, how do you achieve scale in storytelling? You narrate one customer story and then say that we do this, we've done this 1,000 times over. Right? Okay,
nice
cool, but good
Thank
attempt. But wanted to share this feedback in the spirit of all of us getting better. So this is not just for Praful. Everyone else who's participating wants to run a business, wants to get better at communication. But a big round of applause for Praful for coming up and sharing the story. Yes, next entrepreneur. Okay, Sri, great.
I wanted to take you back to the winter of 2023, one afternoon where we were driving through a village called Mangala in Bandipur. I hope everybody is aware of Bandipur. It is an area known for its leopards, tigers, and rattlesnakes. So one afternoon when we are driving through, we crossed a hut that had smoke billowing from its chimneys. So we went inside and we saw an old lady called Lakshmama, who was preparing food, lunch for her family, son, daughter-in-law, and 2 grandchildren, babies. The kids were crying. This woman was struggling to make food because there was smoke coming out of the firewood that she was using to cook food. So we tried to understand why she used firewood. It's free for them to acquire firewood. It's logistically more accessible. But there were risks of forest fires. She had been bitten by rattlesnakes on multiple occasions because snakes tend to go towards warmth of the fire. So we convinced her that it's much more easier and accessible to get LPG compared to firewood. It's easier to use, clean fuel, less risk of forest fires, less risk of animal approach. We were able to convince that family and the entire village following her to move away from firewood and to start using the LPG product. As the company tagline itself says, cook food, but serve love. Thank you.
Yes, anyone with feedback, one thing you liked and one thing that could have been better in Sreenidhi's story?
Saying that, the...
Ma'am, one thing you liked also. First, one thing you liked.
The thing I liked is, yes, it is harmless, it's good for health, that's what he said.
Right.
But the thing is that instead of saying, ಇದರಿಂದ ನಮಗೆ ತೊಂದರೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಅನಿಮಲ್ಸ್ಗಳಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ಅದು ಹೇಳೋದಕ್ಕಿಂತ he can take something else that will be better, make it better.
Like, you can give him some input.
You have to think something.
Okay, cool. All right, great. Anyone else? One thing you liked, one thing that could have been better.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
yeah. Articulation of the problem was fantastic, but the magic of your solution, you know, I think you should have double-clicked on it a little bit more.
Right. I think he ran out of time. Yeah, I think he ran out of time. That was the challenge. Yes, cool. So from my side, Sri, I think if someone narrates the story the way you did, I think I would be clued into it, even if it took 5 to 7 minutes. Because you mentioned the smoke billowing, Bandipur, rattlesnakes. I mean, you brought the forest alive for us, right? So that was really well done. Though I feel that at a couple of instances there was some redundancy, like the food was being cooked for so many people. You mentioned that entire thing. In the interest of time, you could have cut short those parts. And like Ravi already mentioned, if you would have told us what the eventual change that the family got, that would have been even more convincing. But I really felt that the triggering visual imagination part, you really aced that thing really well. Okay, a big round of applause for Sri. Yes, next entrepreneur. Okay, Pradeep. Okay, Pradeep, just give me half a second to time you. You can start in 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah. This is a story of a marketing professional. Okay. Her name is Linda. Okay. She has been recently promoted in her organization, and suddenly she finds in a place where she is now responsible to prove ROI for the senior executive like the CMO. Right? And she is now wondering how many different systems are there in their organizations, what they are doing, where are they, who is responsible, no clue. Right? She has just been promoted and hand over this. And plus, she also has these challenges of lower budget. Okay, the company has lowered the budget compared to the previous year, and then she has been also expected to turn around things quickly. Now she's kind of anxious, okay, kind of trying to see where to start, okay, who can help, and others. And that's where kind of an Agile Space Digital kind of works with these leaders, transforming them from an anxious, okay, kind of a marketing leader or an person to be a marketing leader who can take over the systems, control them, and then kind of prove ROI for their business. Thank you.
Okay, cool. One thing you liked, one thing that could have been better about Pradeep's customer transformation story? You did have 25, 26 seconds more, Pradeep. Okay. I think you also cut short your story. Okay. Yes. Anyone? One thing you liked? Yes, Bhaskar.
His articulation of the problem was very well done.
Right.
But the solution was lacking.
Yeah.
There was no solution. How did he achieve whatever?
I think for the speakers who are going to come up next, what you can think of doing is the marketing professional. I'm narrating her story. She's joined the company. So Linda is a marketing professional who's really facing this challenge as to how to showcase ROI to her boss. Because if she doesn't do that, it puts her role and her promotion also into question. That's where we come in. Linda started working with us, and we were able to, I don't know, create dashboards or whatever. So it gives you enough time to be able to narrate the change also. I think one pattern that we are noticing with everyone is that people are spending, you're sort of getting to to your mentor part at about 45 seconds, most of you. You should be able to close the conflict, get to the mentor in about 15, 20 seconds. And then you can talk about what you were able to do and what the change. So then you still have about 40, 45 seconds to be able to narrate the change, right? So that's how you can try to slice this entire pitch. Yes, who's ready to go next? Yes, brilliant. Yes, Sreenidhi. Please feel free. Yeah, I'll answer his question first.
Yeah,
sure. It's okay, stay here.
So when you say that if we have to close the conflict in less than about 20-25 seconds,
right?
Wouldn't it have a bigger impact if the actual conflict is felt? For example, in my story,
right?
I did take a little long time to get to the conflict.
100%.
I was able to, I think, get the conflict to your heart at a better level.
100%.
So if you are feeling the conflict better, wouldn't the story have a bigger impact?
100%. Depends. The answer to that question is it depends, right? Now, how much time do you have? Which audience are you talking to? Let's say you are meeting an investor who's really pacing to some other meeting, and you just have this 2 or 3 minute walk with him. Now, over there, you may not have the luxury of time to tell him that, Bandipur, this village, and smoke billowing out, etc., etc. In that sort of a situation, building the entire context to the conflict may not be the best approach. What you might want to say is, what was the name of the lady? Lakshmama. Yeah. So Lakshmama's family actually struggles a lot because they use wood to be able to cook. What it means is that she's suffering from bad health. She sometimes also gets bitten by rattlesnakes, and there's overall, this smoke and dust in the house all the time. That's where we came in. So if I had 90 seconds, I would directly talk about Lakshmama's conflict as opposed to build the entire narrative. Of course, if you have longer, let's say for instance, you've been invited to give a talk, right, at a forum like this, then you want to build that story as your opening story so that you can then move into the solution that you're building in different villages, showcase that sort of thing. So context matters in this case. Building the entire, the visual narrative, the setting and all that is when you have more time at hand. And the audience is also has more time to give to you. Yeah. Yes. Yes.
No, only the people who are staying in the villages or nearby forest. Nobody else is using the LPG.
No, ma'am, he is a distributor or he's working in those areas. That is why he's focused on that.
That's what my concern. Why sir is concentrating on only?
Because he's operating in those areas. Yeah, that is why he's concentrating on those areas. Yeah, thank you.
Hi, this is Satish, advocate, founder of Cyber Mitra again. Okay, this is my changed one. Can I start?
Yes.
Okay. A retired, anxious Canara Bank employee approached me a month back and told me that she had lost 80,000 rupees to a cyber fraud. Okay, on discussion with her, I came to know that the money was finally transferred to a UP-based bank account. And then, based on my past experience, I asked her when it was, and then immediately asked her to lodge an FIR, helped her with lodging the FIR, which is a very difficult thing to do, and for such cases. Okay, and then I also asked her to check the police and follow up with the police to kind of find out who the owners of that account was. And in this case, there was a lucky break that it belonged to the fraudster's parents. And then so we were able to communicate with the parents and was able to get back the full money to the affected lady. And it took a month's time for this process to complete. So this was one happy solution story. Yeah.
Okay, cool. One thing you liked, one thing that could have been better in Satish's story. Someone from this side of the room, because I'm generally facing that side, so I'm picking people from there. Anyone, sir, any feedback? What did you like? What did you think could have been better in the pitch? No inputs? Okay. Someone from this table? Which means you folks are not paying attention when they are speaking, which is not good. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
I really like the part of the impact of numbers that sir had about 1 month, 80,000. Numbers play like, that just gets your attention on the impact of their service.
Yeah, cool. Good one. What did you think could have been better? Okay, cool. No worries. No, that's fine. Anyone else? Yes.
The case is slightly different here because if you look at it, it's not the push, it's the pull.
Right.
Because people come to you rather than you go to them.
Right.
So your story needs to be slightly different. I think he got the pitch right. Probably a bit of statistics might have probably at least to help us know a lot better what the company would have been.
Yeah, yeah. I think I really would like to commend Satish because he took only 1 minute, 3-4 seconds to narrate the entire story. What was good, I felt, is that, of course, you spoke about the Canara Bank employee anxious. 80,000, did you say? Yes, 80,000 fraud, UP. So visual imagination again was spot on. We were able to figure that entire thing out. Just two things is that since you had more time, you could have spoken about the, like you spoke about his anxiety, but when he got the money back, you didn't speak about his happiness, right? So that is something that you may want to underline. And after that, like I mentioned, story plus message plus call to action, right? So you narrated the story and the message could have been that many times what we've realized is that if you follow the money trail or something like that, that's when you will be able to catch the culprit in the case of cyber crime. So if you want, if anybody that you know is suffering from any kind of cyber fraud, don't hesitate, ask them to get in touch with us. So you're giving me a very clear call to action as well. It's almost like a public service announcement, right? That you're telling me, and I will definitely remember you. And if something like this happens, I will definitely call you. So it was good, but I just felt that message plus call to action could have been added since you had about 20-25 seconds more. But a big round of applause for Satish. Yes, next entrepreneur, next business person, Chandrasekhar. Yeah, 1 second. Let me time you. Okay, you can start in 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah, we all knew the plastic pollution has become the pressing environmental issues all over the world. But our innovation was not started from the landfill to the pocket. Our innovation started from the pocket to the landfills, where we found one of the student in my visit, studying 4th standard with a 10-year boy, was biting his pen, plastic pen. And the microplastic entered into his body, which can be impacted for the next 3 generations through his DNA. That was the major impact that we found, and we started our innovation to create that into the bioplastics which can degrade within 180 days in the landfills. That was the innovation we did, and we create the transformations, and we achieved. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yes, one thing we liked, one thing that could have been better about Chandrasekhar's pitch or customer transformation story. Quickly, folks, we are running out of time. Please volunteer to speak.
No call to action there.
No call to action, okay, brilliant. Anyone else? One thing you liked, one thing that could have been better. If you're saying something or if you're giving constructive criticism does not mean that you're judging that person. We are all here in this community together to learn and grow together. So let's, in that spirit, please feel free about sharing feedback. But like I said, one thing you liked, one thing that could have been better.
Very realistic problem that all of us neglect.
Right.
He started from there, so that was something that
got it. What could have been better?
No, I think I like the pitch because he started with something that we almost do every day, but we tend to neglect it. Probably that has an impact for the next 3 generations.
Right, right, understood. Great. My input, Chandrasekhar, who's your client?
Because we make the raw materials and we supply it to the converters who converts the materials.
Right. So converters who convert the material
B2B.
are your clients?
Yeah, B2B.
Right. So a customer transformation story in your case, while what you said is interesting, it's nice, it could probably be an origin story or something of that sort.
The innovation started from there.
Innovation started from there, yes. But what we are discussing is a customer transformation story. So next time when you are going and meeting a converter, you have to be able to narrate a story of some other converter or some other company which benefited from the work that you have done, right?
Okay.
So how would you narrate their story? That was the entire brief. That you have to narrate a customer transformation story. The boy chewing the plastic thing, while it's important and it gathers attention, but it may not encourage me to go ahead and work with you. I'll say, Chandrasekhar, wonderful. ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಜನ ಅವರು ತುಂಬ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಬಟ್ ಐ ಡೋಂಟ್ ನೋ ವಾಟ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಪ್ರೊವೈಡಿಂಗ್ ವಿಚ್ ವಿಲ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮೀ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಮೈ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಆರ್ ಸಿ ಸಕ್ಸಸ್ ಇನ್ ಮೈ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಸೊ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾಡ್ ಟು ನರೇಟ್ ಅ ಕಸ್ಟಮರ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ಸ್ಟೋರಿ not a trigger story for innovation or origin story of your company in this case. While the story is definitely good, there's no doubt about that. Yeah? Okay, a big round of applause for Chandrasekhar. Yes, next speaker. Yes. You can start in 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah, myself Dinesh. Most of the challenging part for PU students or 12th studying is getting into top institute like IIT, AIMS, IAC, BITS, Pilani, so and so. So in 2027, a student called Nisar came to us. His only wanted was CET, Karnataka level. He wanted to get through. So what we did is, as a team, my teammates and him also, he's also a team, and his father also team. So gave him an individual attention, and we made him realize his potential to overcome his fear, difficulties, thinking abilities, to go out of his boundaries, his fear, all we made overcome. And at the end of the 2 years, not just Karnataka CET, he got admission into IIT Hyderabad and topmost institute, also IAC Bangalore, AIMS Raipur. Then finally it was challenging for me to reject IAC, reject IIT, then go to AIMS. So that was our success story. Thank you so much.
Yes. So one thing that we liked, sir, I forgot your name, sorry. Dinesh. The judges have the all speaker names, right? Yes. One thing you liked, one thing that could have been better. Okay, someone from this part of the room, any inputs? One thing that you liked, ma'am? Okay, yes, sure.
Like it was good, but it needs some brief of how they
how they helped the student.
Yes,
okay, but what was good about the story?
Yeah, the transformation of students of potential increase of their thinking abilities.
Right, brilliant. Okay, that's really good feedback. I agree with him. So the transformation was very good and it made us feel like, wow, this was great, right? A student who came doubting himself and after working with Dinesh sir and his team actually cracked not just IIT but so many other institutions. But the insight that I was talking about, right? You have to showcase an insight as a mentor. What is it that you were able to do that is different or unique? So in the case of, let's say, Satish, like I've been mentioning, if you follow the money trail, you will be able to figure out who's the criminal. In that way, when you said that we motivated him and we made him change his mindset, what was that one key thing that you can share? Of course, you would have done 10 things, but can you tell us one thing? So we put him on this program where we asked him to focus on subjects that he likes as opposed to, focusing too much on things that he does not like. I'm just, thinking aloud here. But if you can give us one insight that helped you get this student to succeed, that I think would make the story even more powerful. And the other thing is that what would be your call to action to the audiences? So let's say if you are speaking or narrating this in a situation where you have to sell your college or your institution, what would be your last statement that you will make? So you would probably say that admissions are around the corner, please feel free to get in touch with me, whatever that is, right? You should add that statement as well, and so that we know what do we do next. Wow, great story, but I don't know what to do next, or you haven't told me what to do next. So that's something that would help as well. So, but a big round of applause for Dinesh sir. Okay, cool. Next. Yes, your name.
Yeah, I'm Harsha.
Mysore Pak.
No.
Harsha.
Thank you. So I'm Harsha. So this is a story about a person called Jay Kumar who approached me about 3 years back, right? He runs a very famous institution in Mysore, that is Mahalakshmi Sweets. He said, Harsha, we are throwing away 30% of the Mysore Pak that we make.
Oh, damn.
How do we reduce this? So I said, Jay Kumar, why don't I visit your factory and figure out, let's see what we can do to help you, right? So I basically come from a background of looking at energy monitoring and related solutions, digital transformations to factories, industries, and offices. So I said, Jay Kumar, let me use my solutions to identify which machine is actually causing your Mysore Pak to go bad, right? So we just looked at what is the energy consumption, what is the quality of power that is being given to each of those machines, and we were able to identify in just 1 week which machine was causing this much wastage, right? So in just 1 week, with just one device from us, he was able to reduce that whole 30% wastage, right? And today we're all eating really good Mysore Pak from Mahalakshmi Sweets. So using this story, I've been able to sell the same thing of a preventive maintenance and power quality to everybody from Mahalakshmi Sweets to TVS to Nokia across the globe. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so seconds. Yes, one thing you liked, one thing that could have been better in Harsha's story. Anyone? Okay, can we give the gentleman a mic? Yes, Praful.
It was impactful. He's begin and end with a good customer problem and a solution as well.
Right, got it. Yeah. Good. Anyone else who wants to chip in? One thing you liked, one thing that could have been better about Harsha's story? Yeah, directly hitting the emotion of Mysoreans with Mysore Pak. So that's a good showcase story to start a conversation anywhere that you go. So I totally agree. What I liked, Harsha, about your story was very clear. Like Sir here mentioned, Mysore Pak is a great thing to hook the audience here in Mysore, or for that matter anywhere else. That's one. Second, the conflict or the problem was very clear. 30% Mysore Pak they have to throw off, and I'm like, oh my God, why do they do that? They could like deliver it at my place. And then you also showcase the transformation that within a week, but a couple of suggestions from my side. I think at one point you sort of went into too much detail into this is my background, these are the things that I have done, etc., which took away those precious 10-15 seconds. If you wouldn't have done that, you would have been well within time, right? And in the end, what I would have liked to see is that, so because of that saving 30% Mysore Pak or because of that machine, is there anything else that happened as a second order effect, right? Were they able to increase sales because of that or something like that? Because in your story, what I didn't find very clear is that Mysore Pak just saved, or does it actually become available for sales? That is why they are able to increase that sort of revenue. And the last point is that you didn't have to say, in my opinion, that this is the story that I have narrated to be able to get clients like etc. What you could have said as a message and call to action is that sometimes the problem may be lying with one single point in your organization, but it needs someone who has the process and the ability to figure that out. That's where we come in. So the next time you think you're facing a business challenge, don't hesitate, just get in touch with me. I might be able to help, right? That would actually give us a more specific and interesting call to action. Okay, great. A big round of applause for Harsha. Any more speakers left for the day? Okay, great. So we'll go with the lady first. One, go.
Hi everybody, I'm Apti Punacha from Vidyavardhaka College of Engineering. I have the privilege to narrate Mr. Pramod's story from the last table. So before we start, how many of you are here from the educational background, like students or faculty members? Can you give me a raise of hands? Okay, that's a lot. So I'll get back to you at the end of the story. So Mr. Pramod, in such a similar forum in Thai Mysuru event, met a person called Bhuvan, okay? He is the director of the Agile Business School. So he came all paranoid and stressed and said, Mr. Pramod, I'm just worried in this booming era of AI, how do I stay relevant? How does my institute stay relevant? I'm not able to answer to my management, I'm just really worried. And Mr. Pramod said, you come to the right person, calm down. He gave the bottle of water and said, I have a venture called Academy AI. So what we do is, it's a system that you can adopt in your classrooms, where AI is used to transcript the whole lecture, and it provides a brief notes later to the students. So he said, use this for a month, and then I'll get back to you how it went. So Mr. Bhuvan came after a month to Mr. Pramod and said, you have helped me. You have no idea how much you've helped me. The whole concept helped us grow as an institute. We're recognized with that. And not just that, my faculty members now has the time to put all their time in the world for the research that they have to prepare. So that way, he was benefited and he was extremely happy. So to all of them who raised your hands in the beginning, it's your time to adapt AI and provide foundational data to have your own AI system in your institute. So go back, approach the relevant people that you have to, approach Mr. Pramod for it, and get into action. Thank you.
All right, great. One thing we liked, one thing that could have been better. Yes, Sri.
I think she's the one who gave a direct call to action to everybody here.
Yes, that's right. So that was one thing that was good. What could have been better?
It's not her story.
It's not, okay. It's a good one. All right. Okay, but a big round of applause for her for standing and narrating someone else's story. It's very difficult to have conviction to talk about someone else, so all props to her. From my side, I thought the idea of asking the audience, because sometimes, I mean not sometimes, but if you engage your audience by asking questions, they are more likely to listen to what you have to say. So that was a good way to start. And I think a lot of us were waiting to know what is the call to action or something that's going to come back to people who are in academia, right? I must apologize, my wife texted me, so I didn't listen to some part of the thing. But I just felt that I couldn't grab one key hook or message from the story, but that can also be because my attention slightly diverted. And again, I think that you took longer. You took about 1 minute, 45 seconds to deliver the story. So that means that, yeah, so you could have cut down the story, some parts, to be able to deliver it on time. But like she said, the call to action was very specific. It was pertinent, though I would have liked the story to automatically lead to the call to action. So if, much like this institute, you could benefit too. So that's why get in touch. So more than giving the audience an assertion that go back and implement AI, which can sometimes be, people may feel, hey, it's a bit too assertive for me. Why is this person asking me to do it? You should just let the story do the talking and let the audience come back to you with a very respectful call to action, right? Just to put it finely. But once again, a big round of applause for narrating someone else's story and doing a great job. Anyone else left? Anyone else from? Yes, please. And Shripad, 1 minute. Let me time you. Okay, you can start in 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, my name is Shripad, and we are into the business of hyper-local e-commerce for the apparels. Right? So we source the clothes from local shops and we sell it online. In our app. So when we approached local shops, but they are reluctant to come online, right? Because they don't have the experience of this one. So then we said, do you know the population of Mysuru? They said, yes, we know the population of Mysuru. It's around 20 lakhs. But when we asked, do you know how many people visit the Mysuru? They have no idea because none of the tourists visit their shops, right? Because they are away from the city market. So most of the tourists come to the Mysuru, they shop within the city locations of Mysuru. So then we said, like, it's a 40 lakh people who visit the Mysuru every year, which is double of that of the population of the Mysore. So then they said, like, we also given the numbers. Like, assume that if every tourist, if you take 10% of the population from the tourist, we purchase from Mysore shops, then it's around 20 crore, nearly 20 crore will be the revenue. So then they agreed to come online, and now we have around 50 plus shops who are selling online. So also another problem is for the locals, like when there is a new mom, right? The pain of the new mom can only known by the new mom. So if a new mom want to purchase anything from online or anywhere, right now they don't have one day delivery or something. So we get the clothes from local shops to them for the kids in the same day. So here fashion meets the convenience, and you can shop easily within the Mysore city itself from different shops. You will get most of the options, lot more options. Yeah.
Thing you liked, one thing that could have been better in Sripad's pitch, right? Yes. Anyone? No inputs? Oh, yes, Pradeep.
I think he could have conveyed the value in a very kind of a simple and crisp. Okay, means he kind of extended it, narrated the story well, but he took also a lot of time.
Right.
But I think the kind of an impact they are bringing to the local vendors,
right,
are local, going them digital, providing them another options to go digital and expand their business with some figures, some kind of like how did a particular local shop went from probably 50 lakhs to 70 lakhs in revenue a year. That could actually help multiple more local vendors to join them.
Yeah, cool. Okay, brilliant. Maaf, you took the opportunity to explain everything that you needed to about your business in this forum so that people get to know what you do. The brief or the focus was on customer transformation story. Like Pradeep mentioned, if you would have focused on one retailer and narrated his or her success story to us, then it would have sort of made us understand better what is it that you do. Another thing that I felt you could have done better is that you completed one thing and then you got into the pain of the mother and all of that. So to me it was a bit disparate, like why are you going from that to this? But again, I admire the fact that you took the opportunity to talk about your business. That's a true blue entrepreneurs. A big round of applause for Sripad. 1 minute 45 seconds, so Sripad also does not qualify. That's it. Has everyone has every table participated? Any table here where someone has not spoken? Yes, of course, those two gentlemen. Okay, cool, all right. So you're excused, no problem. Anyone else? Any table where, so if you know a table next to you which has not participated, you can complain to me, please. Okay, everybody's spoken, right? So great. I'll let the judges tabulate the scores. It's done already. Okay, cool. All right, so my plan was to walk you through something else while the scores are tabulated. Yes, but others have shown up even before the last person spoke. I don't know how he manages to do this. But I will still go ahead and do my sales pitch, right? I'm also an entrepreneur, so I'm going to play a video about a concept that I worked on, which is called Storyflexion from YouTube. And then we will look at, no, you have to go to YouTube. There's a tab open, no? There's a different tab. Stories from your own life to be able to deliver messages about your company, brand, business, or even your own leadership. You know, I wasn't really into pets. Not that I hated them, but I didn't want to do anything to do with them. But our indie pet dog, Kiki, actually changed the trajectory of my life. That one afternoon, when she fell onto the ground, I picked her up to see if she was all right. She looked at me with those puppy eyes, walked into my lap, and almost said that I know that you don't show emotion, but you will always be there for me whenever I need you. That day, Kiki changed my life in many different ways. That's a story that I narrate in many conferences, in my TEDx talk, but I've also used it to coach founders and executives that they need to narrate the story of their connection with a particular space, and that is when the message will land better. I have been able to help about 100 executives and entrepreneurs. Not just that, I've had the good fortune of working with companies like Tata Motors, SBI Mutual Funds, Bestseller India, Philips Versuni, helping them use the power of stories to increase their success rate in sales, team building, and even fundraising. But there's one question that has bothered me and my mentees all throughout, which is, Sachin, where the hell do we find stories? Now, the answer to that question is something that will get revealed on August 29 to 31st, 2025 at Vaksana Farms in Tamil Nadu. And I invite all of you to join that retreat. It's called Storyflexion Retreat. And Storyflexion, if you want to ask me, is the ability or the art of reflecting on everyday life stories and narrating them to achieve success, not just for yourself, but for everyone around you. Because the most powerful stories, my friends, come from your own life. You just need to take a look around and you'll see that for yourselves. I will be leading the facilitation along with my co-facilitator, Kiruba Shankar, who is a fantastic public speaking coach and also an expert on body language and vocal variety.
Imagine you are 92 years old. What do you think your goal will be? I'll tell you about my grandma Lakshmi Pati's goal. At 92 years, she wanted to become an entrepreneur. And as a good grandson, the goal is to make her dream come true. And so I married two of her greatest qualities, the ability to cook delicious village vegetarian cuisine, along with her unadulterated pure hospitality. And that's how Vaksana Farm Stay began to come about. Fast forward 3 years later, Outlook Traveler magazine has rated Vaksana as India's best farm stay. Why? Not because it has luxurious farmhouses, not because it is super green and awesome, because of the story behind the farm stay. And that's why it is very important to emphasize on telling impactful stories. And that's why I'm teaming up with Sachin Bhandary. And together we are joining hands to create the Storyflexion Retreat, the story reflection, the art of collecting everyday stories and putting them to impactful use. I will be focusing on how to deliver that with impact. How can you deliver that with impact on stage, as a podcast, as a LinkedIn post, or as a carousel, or as a blog post? The ability to take your story to the audience and make an impact.
I will be focusing on helping you understand or build this journaling technique of storyflexion where you map your stories. What does that mean? M means mark stories that happen to you on a daily basis, which teach you something, make you learn something. A is for adapting these stories into interesting storytelling models like Back Then But Now, That's Why, Reveal the Villain, Character Conflict Change, etc. And P is for preserving these stories to use them in the right situations whenever you need them. You'll walk away with a workbook with 9 powerful stories from your own life which you can use in different situations, but you'll also learn the process of continuing on this journey and making storyflexion not just a concept that you understand theoretically, but something that becomes second nature to you. But I think the most important things are that you will get to practice your own stories in this retreat and perfect them in those 2.5 days. Not just that, you will get feedback from like-minded people. All of these people may be coming from different walks of life, different industries, but they will be people who will be invested in your growth while they try to grow themselves as well. Right? So when you walk away from this place, you will find a new you. Probably you will discover who you really are and discover your own life stories, and you will be able to continue on this journey at least for 1 month, because we are going to not let you go just after you leave the doors at Vaksana Farms. We are going to make sure that whatever you learn in the retreat, you implement them at least for a month so that it becomes a habit, like I said. And I always go back to this one line which was said by writer Ira Glass: great stories happen to those who can tell them. So that's what Kiruba and myself would like to turn you into, people who are the most interesting and insightful people in the room, no matter where they go. So let me know if you're ready to join this journey.
Consider this as one of your best investments. And both me and Sachin look forward to having you at the retreat. See you soon.
100%. Why not? Tell me. One good thing, one bad thing is that it's a 5.5 minute long video.
Bad thing is that it's too salesy.
Right. Okay. Okay. Cool. We are looking at doing many versions of this video. So I would like to sit with you, Ravi sir, and figure out how we can create a better version of the video as well. Doing this for the first time, so let's see. We'll need some, I think, work on getting this right. So I just wanted to share this with you folks, and also share that this particular retreat is going to happen on August 29 to 31st. The base price for this is 41,000 inclusive of GST, but whoever books on or before 31st of July, we gets a 10% discount, so that's 37,000 inclusive of taxes. 1st August onwards, the full price, that's 41,000 inclusive of taxes, but only for today, for the events that I'm doing. If anybody wants to book a spot on this particular retreat, there is a 30% discount. So that comes up to about 29,900, round figure of 29. And you also get a 1 month free membership of Story Club worth to 3,200 if you book your spot today. So my request to all of you is that you take this scanner, the QR code on the screen here. There are a few options. So if you are interested, you can let us know that you're interested. If you think that you want to take some more time and talk to me or my team, we will get in touch with you. If you say that, Sachin, we are not interested in this, please don't bug us about this, then of course we will not talk to you about this ever again. So my request from everyone in the room is to just fill the scanner. Please pull out your phones, the QR code, and just take 30 seconds. So if you found the session that I've done valuable, just as a thank you, the one thing that you can do for me is to pull out your phone, fill the the form, which is going to take you less than 30 seconds to do. And yes, then we will close the session with the winner or the narrator of the day. So this request is for everyone, all our CMs, AMs, students. You can say no, that's no problem. We'll still be friends, absolutely no worries. But if you don't fill the form, I'll close the doors. Adarsh, Mahesh, Bhaskar, Ram, I request you folks to fill this form as well. Anyone, any guesses on who's the narrator of the day today? The pitches that our business folks and entrepreneurs just shared a little while ago? No, of course. Mysuru Park sadly was disqualified because of the time. Anyone? No guesses? Who's the winner? I request Bhaskar and Ram to come to the stage and announce the winner and give away the certificate of narrator of the day. Cool. We have some music? No, it'll take time. We can do music? Okay, cool. So with some music and drum rolls.
I'm Ram. I'm a charter member. In the last few months, I was not in the country. Happy to be back. Great show, Sachin. Thank you for doing this for us. I'm sure everybody is going back, rethinking what kind of customer stories they want to narrate to their potential clients. See, one thing I want to share based on what I've been seeing the last hour is even seasoned campaigners, people who have been running businesses 10, 20, 30 years, actually are finding it very difficult to summarize in a minute what a great customer experience they've been privy to. It's not, and I've myself been a victim of that in many situations, right? So this is not something you can just, know one day suddenly how to do it. It is something you need to keep practicing. And very often I've found that great customer stories come not from a problem that is directly relatable to the solution. As an example, in my own case, I'm part of a company that provides distributed workspace solutions across India. But the problem statement which came to me from a client was, Ram, we are facing 35% attrition. And that's impacting our ability to deliver to our clients. That was the underlying problem, right? And what we ended up doing for them in that particular case was distribute their workforce across 7 different cities. They were a BP of 2,000 people concentrated in one large city. So you kind of distributed in 7 larger cities, found the cities based on the kind of businesses they are in and where talent will be available. And what happened because of that was they obviously reduced their attrition from 35% to maybe 7% or 8%, but their infrastructure cost went down by 30%. Work-life balance dramatically improved for their clients, for their employees. Their ability to deliver to customer, the CSAT scores, etc., improved from 85% to 95%, right? So the point I'm trying to tell you is sometimes the problem that's narrated to you will be one, and what you offer as a client to the customer could be a very different thing. And the byproducts of that solution may be much more than what even the customer could be perceiving out of the solution, right? So this is something we just have to keep in mind. So we don't have to be bogged down by what we have as a solution and force fit it to a problem. Sometimes it just evolves. I think we have to very carefully understand what is it that we want to narrate to a potential customer, because it's not just about what happened to somebody else. They want to understand how does that relate to them, because you're actually narrating a great customer story to a potential customer who should feel excited about that story because they should be able to relate to that story. So that is also something I feel that we all should keep in mind. Yeah. On that note, Bhaskar, I would love for you, if you want to say something, feel free to.
I will when I talk. So, all right, the narrator of the day goes to Sreenidhi. Well done. Well done.
Just wanted to add a point here. Thank you for the certificate. Thank you, Sachin. But everybody should be aware this is not an individual effort.
Right.
This is a group effort. So the certificate goes to the entire group. Thank you. And it's not just for me. It's with every other table that's sitting here. Like this very event that happened here, the efforts and the successes that we get is a team effort. It's not always individual. Thank you.
Apti represented me. I'm Pramod, the co-founder of Academy AI. But 2-3 things I would like to tell. I'm the AI guy. So all of you have your phones, please take out, install, if you have Airtel numbers, install perplexity.ai. It's free for 1 year. If you haven't, that's a crime, right? So please go ahead today, install, right? There are 3 scenarios. One is search, second is research, and third is lab. Try using lab. It'll open up your minds. So now you have this story, go ahead and do research and build the lab. Lab is the story that you can build visually, right? Number one. Number 2, Google also has opened up its Gemini, free for students, right? Don't stop. Go ahead. That's 20,000 worth of fee. Now attached to that is when you build artifacts in Gemini, you can export that to a system called Replit, right? It builds you AI applications. It builds databases, it builds you full applications just by prompt, just like Lovable, right? So please use these. I'm telling you this too because over the past couple of months, a lot of kids have come in asking us projects, internships, and all those things. But AI is hitting everybody. 20%, 30% reductions, you're all going to come into the workforce. So if you are not proficient in these tools, you are taken 5, 10, 20 steps back in your careers. Now you have been given these fantastic tools which you can visualize and build what you want. It builds you anything, right? So next time you should add proficiency in Perplexity AI lab building or whatever that is. So build those kind of proficiencies, especially those coming from MBA and stuff like that. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, Pramod. First of all, thank you so very much, Sachin. It's been a phenomenal 4 sessions so far, I think. And we are not giving you a memento because now we are repeating the mementos if we have to. So apologize for that, but the storytelling is something that I had proposed to Sachin I think about 3-4 months ago. And I'll tell you why. And because I got some feedback from people, and I want to tell you, and I was very pleased to see so many of you being here today. Even though it was the 4th session, I was thinking that probably there must be a storytelling fatigue that may have set in, and probably some of you may have felt that it was getting repetitive and so on. So therefore, I was very, very pleased to see so many of you being here today. That means you are actually getting some value out of the sessions that Sachin so brilliantly delivers, right? And also to have somebody like Ravi Shankar sit there and listen to another legend like Sachin, that itself is a testimony to how good a program these things have been. I'll just tell you, why I felt the storytelling was very, very important. And to be honest with you, it's actually still not done. Right, so there's a lot more to storytelling than what you have been exposed to so far. And Sachin and I have talked about this, and of course, Ravi Shankar would know, and Ram would also know. When I was doing my MBA in University of California in Los Angeles, it being in Los Angeles, close to being Hollywood, the arts and entertainment and theater department at UCLA was extraordinarily strong. Right? So as a part of our MBA, what we were made to go through a series of workshops conducted by the theater group. And they walked us through literally step by step on how to be a public speaker. Right? You don't have to be an entrepreneur. You could be a business leader working for somebody else. But if you are a business leader, if you are in the business of public speaking, they literally handheld us to say, how to be a public speaker to the extent of doing your voice modulation. What are the words, or what are the kind of words that you should emphasize? Where do you should not emphasize? Where should you put a comma? Where should you put a pause? Where should you put a full stop? So that's how important the storytelling part is. That is one part. So this is about the verbal communication I'm talking about. And then they even talked to us about the body language, what the body language should be. If I'm, for example, standing behind a podium like this, what should my body language should be? If I'm right here on the top, right, totally exposed, right, what should my body language be? Most people prefer to stand behind this because we feel that we are protected, right? But when you're standing on a stage like this, you are not protected. You're totally exposed from top to bottom. Right, so what your body language should be, as I said. So all of these things have come together. And more importantly, or equally importantly, if you are presenting a PowerPoint presentation, for example, you should not be turning around and reading like this, correct? And they taught us brilliantly about how to do PowerPoint presentations. And I see so many people writing PowerPoint presentations which are absolutely wrong, in the sense that we use, PowerPoint has two portions, right? The one is on the top, which is called the title, right? And then there is a content, correct? Now, what they taught, so what does the title says? The title says, this is the agenda, right? One word you put agenda, right? The next one would be the benefits, for example. Or you say problem statement would be the title of the next slide. The next slide would be approach. Next slide would be maybe benefits, or whatever it might be. These are all one words. They said it should never be one word. It should build a story. Each and every title slide should be a continuous pick up from the previous slide and build a story. And only if they are interested, they will look at the body of the slide. And the example they gave us was newspaper. You look at the newspaper, what happens in a newspaper? Newspaper, you see the title of the news item. Only if it is found interesting, you will read the news. Correct? If it is not interesting, you are going to skip that news item altogether. And that was the analogy that was given, saying create that interest by showing the title. For example, if it's agenda, don't say agenda. Say something like, right, what are we going to talk about today? Or we are going to show you how this one benefits you, or this solution benefits you. When you come to the benefit, you put a benefit right there up on the title. Don't say just a benefit. Right? And then talk about, as they say, I think Ravi Shankar used that word, double click on it. So double click meaning get to the next level of detail. And the next level of detail should be your body of the slide. Try this out. It works beautifully. right? Extraordinarily well, because now you're combining multiple things into the story, right? So there is a verbal, there is a visual, and there is a body language as well that is all going together. That is why I was so interested in bringing the storytelling aspect of this entire program into you guys, because I'm trying to go back, what I spent thousands of dollars learning. I hope that you guys would get it for almost nothing, other than the time that you invest. So that is how we need to proceed. And as I think Ram said, you are not going to perfect this on day one, right? You're going to take a lot of time, keep practicing. And I think Sachin also said, keep practicing and practicing and practicing, right? Only practice makes a man perfect, and it's so true. And read newspaper if you want to learn how to craft a story, right? So somebody like Pramod, for example, who has been a journalist, you learn from them. How do the journalists write their news articles? As I said, they have a very catchy title to attract the attention, grasp the attention of the reader. And then if you're interested, you go to the details, right? So look at the newspaper, how they do. Particularly if you are interested, I would encourage you to look at one newspaper called Economic Times. Economic Times, in my opinion, their titles are just out of this world, right? They do a wordplay. They do a beautiful wordplay on every title that they do, right? And wordplay, and then it conveys the meaning to you. The moment you look at the title and say, I know what exactly this article is about. And that's how the story should be built. So when you do a PowerPoint presentation, even if it is for pitching to somebody, build a story from the title, and the double click is your body of the slide. Okay? All right, so that is where you want to ultimately get to. So the storytelling story is not over yet, right? So there is more to come. We'll probably take a break, or give Sachin a break for a couple of months, or a month or something. But I do want to come back and include some of these aspects and coach you guys back into, yes sir, yes Ravi.
Which one Sreenidhi, the narrator of the day thing. Okay, I don't know how many of you noticed. To my mind, it's one word which Sreenidhi used: billowing. Okay, smoke billowing out. Billowing is very different from smoke coming out. It is very different from smoke emanating from somewhere. He could have used, there are some 10 words which I can think of which could have been used instead of billowing. But billowing created that impact. It made Sachin Bhandary repeat that word when he was talking about it. And, the intensity of that word is what sort of captured the emotion of the thing. So I'm trying to, tell the students here, be very, very careful with your choice of words. And many times it is that one word which can, really uplift your story, uplift your narration, uplift your presentation. So that's what I wanted to say. Sorry about the interjection.
No, absolutely. That is so very true, the choice of words. And one other thing, that Ram not comfortable speaking in English, it's perfectly fine to speak in any language that you want to speak in. Right? So don't be scared. It is the idea that counts. It's not the language. Languages are just a mode of communication. Right? What really matters is the idea and how you are communicating whatever you are communicating. Right? So that is important. And in fact, we were invited, or I was one of the panel members for judging some ideas from a young group of students in an engineering college here in Mysuru. Right? And they were brilliant guys in terms of their ideas. And there were two groups. One group said, "Sir, na Kannadadalli matadboda?" I said, "Absolutely." There was another group said, "Sir, मैं हिंदी में बात कर सकता हूँ क्या?" We just, sure. So it so happened that, we understood both Hindi and Kannada, so it was not a problem. What I'm trying to say is, don't hold yourself back. The idea is to communicate. It doesn't matter in which language. It's just a mode of communication, just the verbal communication, the body language communication, etc., etc. It's just a verbal piece of communication. And one last thing, then I will move on, is, as I said, there are many different ways to communicate your story. Right? There is no one. You have to find what fits your style the best. And I don't know, Sachin, if that gels well with you, what I'm saying, right? You have to figure out what works best for you. What kind of words work well for you? What tempo works best for you? Right? It's okay if 30 seconds becomes 35 seconds or 60 seconds becomes 70 seconds. right? But don't make sure that you're not wandering off when you're telling your story. Be crisp. And one of the things, again, just not for any pitch, if you're going to be working for somebody else, you're doing, let's say, a PowerPoint presentation to your management, your team, etc. I typically follow a 4-step formula. Okay, 4-step, what are they? Problem statement, everybody knows, correct? Approach, what did you do to solve that problem? Or you can, okay, then after that is the solution. Right, so this is the approach that I took, and here is how we zeroed down on the solution, and last one is the benefit. And solution and approach you can interchange if you want to. Right, these 4 simple steps, keep that in mind. Your problem statement up front, everybody knows it. What did you do to get to the solution? Right, and once you got to the solution, describe what the solution was, and then you got to tell them what the benefit of the solution was. Correct? Cool? All right. So thank you so very much again. But before I wind up, I want to just mention that in about 2 weeks' time, on the 2nd of August, we're going to have another phenomenal fireside chat. And General Ray, or Lieutenant General Ray, is going to come and talk to us on 2nd of August on 10x leadership, what is called a 10x leadership. And he is the pioneer, or considered to be one of the pioneers of 10x leadership. He's the founding member or founder of an IB international school called Indus International School in Bangalore. They actually recently opened an entrepreneurship-based school in Mysuru called 10x International. Right, so they are starting their first set of classes starting August. Right, so phenomenal man. My son studied in that school. I have heard General Ray speak many times over the last 4 or 5 years that my son was studying there, and he's absolutely a visionary, and he's the one who actually introduced the robots in the classroom as well. He was the first one in India to pioneer introduction or robot-based classroom sessions or lessons. So I invite all of you, please come and hear him speak. He's a phenomenal speaker, and he's, as I said, hopefully we'll relate some of the stories from the battlefield as well. And he's a very decorated army man. And please come and enjoy yourself. That is 2 weeks from today, which is 2nd of August. And that is also the day when we decided to have a cocktail dinner as well. So I'm sure we'll have a good turnout that day. All right. Thank you, everybody, and enjoy the rest of the evening. Bye.
Good evening, all. So sticking true to the theme of today's event, the story, we want to tell the story of Mysuru. How many of you have gone to Mysuru Santes markets, KR market? Have anybody been there early mornings? So when you go to the market or you go to the Sante, the one thing, 3 a.m., 4 a.m., you see the farmers, you see them shout out, 10 kg tomato, 10 kg alugade. They are trying to sell their product, right? We want to sell Mysuru as a product. And to sell Mysuru as a product, we want stories of Mysuru. We have already sent out call to actions to submit stories. Stories, it could be about you, it could be about what you've done, it could be about the companies you're running, your visions, your success stories. We want to include that in Mysuru newsletter, Thai Mysuru newsletter. Okay? So if you have not already submitted, we request you to kindly submit them so that we can take it forward, we can bring this story of Mysuru out to the world. We have seen stories from other Thai chapters. We want to highlight Mysuru also as one of the successful chapters. So please reach out to either me or to Mahesh Katale, and we'll be honored to showcase you in Thai Mysuru. Thank you.
Okay, great. Brick video, like I always start off with an activity, let's end with an activity as well. Request everyone to be on your feet. Okay, I'm going to do this video and I'm going to say, give your life the. Okay, so when I say give your life the, your response has to be story punch. Okay, so give your life the story punch. Okay, so let's do this once without the video. Give your life the story punch. Okay, now with the video, once again. Give your life the story punch. Brilliant. Thanks a lot, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening. Hope you had fun. Hope you learned something.
Thank you.